What I am shocked about is this banana and curry on pizza. Well, that's what's happening in Sweden?
I don't know that you want to throw the entire Swedish people under the bus for this.
It also looks like there's like chopped ham on there.
I support ham.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the ham. It's the ham with the bananas and curry that's the problem.
Hello and welcome to Whipped Cream Salmon. I'm your boy, Brian Masanza. With me is my boy, Ronnie Sanchez. Together we are Whipped Cream Salmon. This is the podcast where we talk about all things food, brands, and fuckery. We're ready to podcast today, Ronnie. I'm stoked to podcast.
Dude, I'm fired up.
I got my podcast hat on, my shoes, my pod shoes.
Pod shoes?
Yeah. You know what brand they are?
Whipped Cream Salmon brand.
Exactly.
Exclusively check it out on our website. Get yourself some cream shoes.
Yeah, Whipped Cream Salmon Jeezys.
That would be a great first merch line. We just launch shoes.
Gucci? Yeah. Yeah, I'll do like
a Gucci collab.
Cuban link chains with Whipped Cream Salmon medallions. How about that?
I like that.
Yeah.
We should just own those. We should get
some of those. WCS with a little fish dangling, all fucking diamonds, like that.
I like that. Gucci, if you're looking to collab, hit us up.
if you need your brand to be propped up by us boys,
let's drink our beers.
Let's drink our beers.
I got a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Ooh, Pale Ale. I was telling Ronnie off air, but I will say on air that I have. Well, I didn't tell you about the beer that I have. I just bought this an hour ago, though. Put it in the fridged it, but not sure that we're really quite there yet. So I'm going to crack this. We're going to sip it, evaluate. I also have a cup of ice sitting next to me, and I'm not afraid. This is also a funny beer. Raleigh Brewing Company. It's called It Girl OMG.
Okay.
It Girl OMG. It's a Munich Helles lager.
Emma hyping up when you said It Girl.
Emma, you will knock it off. She's really into like togetherness. This is, and Sammy just snuck into the bedroom and I'm in the bedroom and now she's in the living room. There's some serious tension going on.
That was your nickname for her now? Is Togetherness, right?
Togetherness. It's a nickname of hers, yeah.
That's her nickname.
Yeah. Also, Patience is another nickname of hers. It's kind of an
oxymoron.
Yeah. She's an oxymoron for sure.
Yeah.
Or just whatever. I'll be kind.
Like it. What are we tasting from the It Girl?
It Girl. Yeah, fine. It's going over ice.
Yeah, you heard it here first. It's fine. Did it manage to get cold enough?
No.
Pouring it over ice. So when underage, you can't just keep your beers in your parents' fridge. They don't typically like that. So at my buddy's house, if we had a stash, it'd be, of any, whatever, be like 4 or 5 beers if we were lucky. And we'd have to just keep them in his garage, hidden somewhere.
Classic maneuver. And
we just referred to it as cowboy cold because it was colder than if the beer was just outside, but it's not that cold.
Drink a ton of cases of beer just like that.
Yeah, lukewarm.
We were lucky when we were in the mountains that like outside usually would get pretty cold. Throw it on on some on a little pile of snow, you get your beers pretty cold. You get a little outdoor cooler.
It's really the best part, best time of year when you're like, oh, I can free up all this refrigerator space and put my beer outside.
Yeah, just put all my shit outside.
Yeah.
Bears love that. Bears love
beer.
Yeah. Classic Bears. What'd you cook this week?
This was actually kind of fun. I've had a can of Spam in my cupboard for a while. So I made some musubi, which was really fun. And
cool.
Yeah, and I found out that my dog loves the seaweed papers, the nori wraps.
Yeah.
Dude, you got to get Emmy some. She loves them.
Just the plain ones?
Just plain. The only ingredient is seaweed. They're just plain roasted, not like salted or anything. And dude, she gets hype for them. And, I bought the whole pack specifically for the musubi, and I had a whole bunch left over. So I just been giving them to her as dog treats. And every time I pull that bag out, she's like way more hyped for those than like her actual dog treats.
She's fired up. She loves them.
They're super crunchy.
A little fishy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dogs love a little stank,
She likes to snap on them really aggressively because they crunch. It's pretty fun feeding sheets of seaweed paper to her.
What do you think dogs like? So Emma will light up if you have like a piece of steak and she's,
yeah,
and you're willing to part with it. Sometimes they get as excited for fucking trash, like literal trash sometimes, but also just like mush, like shit food. And like, is there any difference to them? Now, like, I will say, like, when she's crushing like that piece of steak, it's like a real, like, she seems passionate about it. That's the word I would use.
Yeah.
Just like, full of life and energy when she's crunching down on some steak. But do they care at all?
Well, dude, it's sometimes you'll give them something nice, like a piece of steak,
Mm-hmm.
and she'll just throw that thing back, swallow it whole. Like you did not even chew on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like you didn't get the best experience with that.
Yeah.
And I want her to have the best experience when I'm giving her a nice piece of ribeye or something.
Sure.
You
got to slow roll it. You got to be the adult in the room. That's the thing.
You got to hold on to it.
Yeah. I just, I'm lucky that my pup like is pretty gentle. Like when I'm feeding her, so I can like, I can hold a thing and she'll like eat around my fingers and then I'll just keep on, I get a good 10 seconds out of a treat sometimes.
That's a good one.
Call me crazy. Call me maybe.
Yeah, like to, she's not so, well, she'll still be gentle if you instruct her to, but I used to be able to like put a piece of, say, like a piece of steak on the tip of a fork and be like gentle, 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 gentle. And then she'd come in with just like her front teeth and pull it off of the fork, like as gently as she possibly could.
That's adorable.
It would always crack me up. Yeah. Now she's like, just give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
She's somewhat gentle.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What are you cooking this week?
I had a couple things. I made a banana bread this week. That's pretty good. Pretty basic. It was actually mixed, so it was like pretty easy. I just had like a Kodiak mix in the cupboard and had some bananas that were getting there, so threw that together. That was nice. Nothing special though. I also over the weekend though pressure cooked a pork butt. We did some pork butt tacos a few times on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Got a couple in the freezer too.
Did you?
Yeah. So yeah, I got a couple quarts of cooked pork ready to taco. So that's pretty fun. It's always good to have just a quick thing that you can just pull out and be happy with,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I haven't had pork butt on hand in a while. Actually, it's something that I'm usually always have on hand. We've talked about it on here. Go to Costco, get the big. It's usually like a 2-pack. dude, one of those things will last us for a long time. You get a lot of meals out of it, but yeah, I've been out for a minute. I haven't re-upped, so maybe I'll have to put that on the agenda. Get me another butt up in here.
Get a little butt, dude.
Get a little butt.
You deserve it.
We all deserve it.
Is re-up a word is that a real world phrase? Or is that just for like weed guys?
I think it's a thing.
People say that when they're like,
we got to re-up on the pork butt.
Sounds like a weed guy kind of thing to say, Ronnie.
Well, I'm not a weed guy, so.
Well, I'm happy that you're getting your butt on. You know, everyone should get their butt on.
Yeah, and if you're out of butt, re-up.
Of course.
You know the old saying, if you're out of butt, re-up. It doesn't rhyme. I don't know why people say it all the time,
but before we get into it, I mean, Japan's coming up quick. We kind of discussed it, but I mean, it's a quick turnaround. So I'm sure every week you may have some new knowledge bombs to drop on us with your adventures.
Yeah, we got all of our hotels booked, so that's good. That's out of the way. But actually, just a little bit before the pod, I actually found there's this Mexican restaurant in Tokyo, which I think was super interesting. That it's like a lot of like local, like Japanese ingredients and maybe some styles, but still like fairly traditional Mexican.
Nice.
But they offer like a taco omakase, which for the listeners, if you don't know omakase, traditionally it's like with sushi, but it's basically like chef's choice. You sit down and he'll just feed you. He'll make like one piece at a time, you know, whatever he wishes, and just kind of place it in front of you. And it's usually like, I don't know, 8 or 9 pieces, something like that. And then they'd like give you a dessert and it's kind of like an event, but this is that idea, but tacos, chef's choice.
That's pretty cool.
Which I'm sign me up for that. That sounds fun.
For sure. Yeah, you think you're gonna try to? I mean, it's always like a balancing act, right? Like you're going to Japan, so you want to eat the most Japanese food that you possibly can, but also like really fun to see like what other stuff is happening around, and different cuisines that are in different countries are different than they would, they're different than they'd be here. Like obviously,
yeah.
Mexican food in Japan is going to have vastly different ingredients, potentially, than you would in the States.
Yeah, like when we were in Thailand and we got that pizza, and it said like Thailand's best pizza or something like that.
It might have been.
I can't confirm or deny if it was or wasn't. It was the only pizza that we ate. Maybe one of the worst pizzas I've ever had.
Yeah.
But
possibly the best one that they've ever had.
Yeah.
That place was like a Domino's.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was a good, and it was expensive. Probably our second most expensive meal.
$30 like
in Thailand.
For a Domino's style pizza. Yeah.
Next to our Michelin dinner. Yeah. Yeah, that was not good. We just had to eat. It was a long day. We were hungry and tired.
We were boating.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I do think it would be interesting to experience what Mexican food in Japan would be like. But also, I mean, so many other things. That's kind of like the furthest from the things I want to try, but it just seemed like a really interesting, cool concept.
Sure. But like, I don't even know if this is fully like fair to say, but like, or accurate. I think it is. The Japanese people culture, like they just seem like excellence is so important in that culture. And like, I think like a lot of the things that you see them produce are like some of the best things. They make business decisions slowly and they put out products that are just really high end, and you could see that from like Instagram videos of like people doing street food stuff that's like really crazy high end, like or really maybe not like high end, like the most expensive meal or anything, but like really technical cooking and like and I would imagine that. I mean, I don't know anything about this restaurant that you're talking about, but like I bet that you find some excellence that in some realms that you didn't expect to see, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's what is most intriguing about it, that it's, you know, I don't know, yeah, like what you're saying, like Japanese mentality, I guess, with Mexican cuisine, kind of really interesting. But yeah, a lot of different things I want to try. Excited to try when we get out there. So
making any reservations?
No, I was actually looking to see if I could make a reservation with that place, but I wasn't able to find whether or not I could make one. A lot of the websites are all in Japanese, and a lot of them do have like the English translation, but I've been on several now that do not. And it makes it really difficult.
Doesn't Google, you can't just like Google Chrome, like do the translation for you?
Maybe. I mean, I've just been on my phone
right.
working through it. So I haven't really dug too deep. I'm sure if I tried hard enough, I could find a way around it. But
I know I've stumbled on some like fully Spanish websites that I was just like, oh yeah, translate to English or whatever. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. But we're staying kind of spending equal time in Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. And we'll fly out of Osaka. But I did, I booked those baseball tickets.
Ooh.
Did we talk about that on here? Or I think I was just saying that I was interested in doing it. Yeah. Really excited about that.
What's your team again that you're like the biggest fan of ever?
The Hanshin Tigers.
You forgot.
No, I said I I was actually watching a history video on them yesterday, and the narrator of the video called them the lovable losers, which I think that they did win their championship like a year or two ago. But yeah, they've had a pretty tumultuous history, not too dissimilar to my Boston Red Sox. So
fair. Cubs vibes. Red Sox maybe pre 2000s Red Sox even.
Yeah, not so much anymore.
Yeah, that's really fun. I'm super jealous of that. That's gonna be really fun. I hope Rochelle finds it. I mean, as fun as I think y'all will. I mean, or just how I think like anyone would, just in a new environment, just experiencing something new, because it's not, and that ain't a Major League Baseball game.
Yeah, the tickets were a little pricey, but it also, when I was buying the tickets from like the team's website, they were completely sold out. So I had to buy, secondhand from like SeatGeek, yep. And it said less than 1% of tickets were available still.
Ooh. So just a regular, what day of the week?
A Sunday.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. Yeah.
Don't know. Weekend. But the game seems to be sold out. And I was...
That's cool.
Yeah. And apparently they have like chants or like songs for like every player that comes up to bat.
Jesus.
The whole crowd gets into. And so I was looking at where the best seats are for the game, and I was like, well, maybe I can find something, behind first base, around home plate, something like that. And the person writing this article was like, he went through every section, and then he was like, the right field, outfield. It's like, this is where you want to sit. This is where the party is.
Bleacher creatures.
Yeah, it was like, this is where all the true fans are. That's where you want to be. It's a party. It's a party from the first pitch to the last out. So I'm excited.
That's cool.
Hopefully my Tigers win.
Let's go Tigers.
They were actually named after the Detroit Tigers.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have any? Are all the names in English?
Yeah, I believe so.
So interesting, right?
At least several of them.
You'd think they'd throw out like a Japanese name. I'm sure there's a way to say tiger in Japan.
I'm sure. Yeah, no,
maybe that's not. Maybe just That's just America, you know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they were trying to...
They invented tigers, probably.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But maybe they were trying to like appeal to Western culture in some kind of way too, to like draw
right
an audience.
For sure.
But I mean, the league's also been around for a very long time. I think when I was, researching the team and learning on some of the history, last year was their 100th anniversary. So they've been around for a long time.
Can you share a chant with us, or is that we're gonna have to wait for the vlog?
I'll get back to you on that one. Okay. I'm hoping I can pick up a couple of them in Osaka.
Just figure out who like the main dude is,
who the guy is,
and then learn that chant.
I think I'm gonna know based on vibes.
Yeah. See if you. Yeah, I wonder if you get some. I don't know, just some expats that are living in Japan that like are sitting in the bleachers with you that you can just talk up about it a little bit, you know?
I want the Japanese guy that barely speaks English next to me explaining to me what's happening. That's the kind of experience I want.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And hopefully by the, hopefully by the seventh inning stretch, we're buying each other beers, and arms around each other, chanting whatever Hanshin Tiger chant.
He's gonna call you Shohei by the end of it.
I'd be honored.
Just be like,
what was his
me Shohei?
What?
Tall.
What was Shohei's bookie's name?
What is it? Not his bookie. It was his translator that robbed him.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, quote unquote, robbed him.
Oh, I know it too.
Ippei, yeah.
Ippei.
Ippei. He's in prison now.
Did he go to jail? I knew that he was in the court system.
Yeah.
What happens there? You go to American jail? Do you always go to? Yeah, if you're not a citizen, do you like have an option? Like, I just go home.
I don't think so. I think
that's not how that works. I don't know.
I think you do the crime, you got to pay the time
in that place.
Yeah, definitely.
It's probably how that works.
Probably how that works.
It's also expensive, though, right? We got to pay for that.
Yes, we do.
Ippei, we have to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope he, learned his lesson and, has reformed his life for the better. Amen.
He'll spend a couple years in jail. He'll get out, and Shohei will take care of him.
He's getting tore up. He's Cutie.
Ippei?
He is a cutie. He got tore up. California?
Oh my God.
Alcatraz or whatever? I don't know.
You think
San Quentin?
You think they sent Ippei to Alcatraz?
That's closed, right? But like San Quentin.
It's a museum now. Oh my God.
I have an article here.
Yeah.
Or should we get into some food stuff?
About Ippei?
I don't know.
Hot or not list?
Hot for sure. So I just pulled up Smithsonian Magazine, and they have a bunch of food articles. And I thought it'd be fun if we just reacted to some of the titles of these articles, the headlines of these articles.
Okay.
You're not supposed to read a book or judge a book by its cover, but let's judge some books by their covers.
Okay.
And that's what this next segment's called. Judge books by covers.
Okay.
By Ronnie Sanchez.
All right.
Not all of these are reactable. How about this one? Could this space oven allow astronauts to finally cook in space? I'll read the subtitle too. An aerospace engineer has invented an appliance which can whip up quiches, pizzas, and more in zero gravity environment.
Have astronauts been not eating any warm food prior to this.
Don't have a lot of astronaut friends, but
no, me neither.
I
Actually,
mean, yeah, I've seen a lot of just bags of mush. It
like
seems
goo.
like, yeah, a lot of goo, a lot of
And then
goo.
like I know they have the freeze dried ice cream.
That's cool for them. It's not ice cream of the future.
No, what they need is Dippin' Dots.
Yeah,
up there. Yeah.
So yeah, I think we missed the mark on this appliance. I think what we really need is a space ice cream machine, not a space microwave.
Space microwave.
That's what this is, right? We don't know. We're just reading the headlines.
Assuming it's like a Turbo Chef, it sounds like.
Yeah. What do you think? Hot or not?
I mean, literally hot. If I'm an astronaut, I'm stoked. If I've been up there eating cold pouch goo, I'll be pretty excited to be eating some warm pouch goo.
Yeah. Agreed.
So
hot. I hope they brought some hot meals up to those poor astronauts that were stuck in the space station.
Yeah, there's definitely still up there.
They're up there a year? Yeah. You're going to get them, right?
Someday.
Scientists are trying to crack the recipe for perfect plant-based eggs. I don't know about that, Ronnie. Well, I think that if people have made decisions to be vegan for health reasons or whatever reason that they decided to, that they're entitled to, make that decision. And I typically think that like vegan food is best when it's not like trying to be not vegan food. But I also understand that like when people have nostalgia for things and they, are just maybe for whatever reason they have some disease and they can't eat meat because of whatever reason and they want to experience burgers and stuff. I mean, I think Impossible Burger is kind of okay sometimes. Eggs, I don't know if it's good. Like, I guess it all depends, right? It's got to be good.
It's just so hyper processed.
It's gross.
I feel like, and I think a lot of the reason that you hear from people wanting to become vegan is, aside from like the animal welfare, but like the process that it goes through and I don't know, chemicals and this and that, and like any of those Impossible meats or whatever this plant egg. I mean, it's just got to be so chock full of chemical stabilizers and all kinds of fillers and food dyes and all kinds of nonsense. I'm sure.
Is there not a way to do that other than to do it that way? I mean,
if you can show me one that is made with, natural ingredients and, I'm happy to admit that I'm wrong, but I know like all those Impossible meats and stuff, like those are all full of all kinds of different chemicals and stabilizers.
Yeah, it's often I think like it's the person who just genuinely wants to like do something, like they're trying to make a decision to be healthy for themselves, but they then are greeted with like all these things that are just like the opposite of what they really want, right? Like, like, oh, like I'm trying to get away from like hyper processed like food that like is going to make me feel bad, and then like I'm greeted with like fucking soy eggs.
Yeah, I think you're much better off either becoming vegan and like, sticking to clean and natural real ingredients, or if, you're at that crossroads of like becoming a vegan or vegetarian or like continuing on your life normally as a meat eater, but you want to make a change. I mean, like really seek out higher quality ingredients that are, go to find your local farmer and, buy a quarter cow and have it processed and frozen,
Sure.
I don't know. There's ways you can go about it without going full blown fake egg.
Sure. Yeah, 100%. I do think that there are things that we're not thinking about, and that's why I kind of preface some of this as like, not everyone gets to make those decisions. Sometimes those decisions are made for them for whatever reason, you know?
Sure. And that's a different scenario, I think.
Of course. Yeah,
you know?
Agreed. This one makes me want to read more, but I'm not going to right yet. The Rebellious History of Mooncakes, the note-passing dessert that liberated China.
It's
very interesting, right?
During Mid-Autumn Festival, Chinese around the world eat a miniature molded and filled cakes to wish their families wealth and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And so they were filled with some kind of notes of some sort.
That's pretty cool.
That's interesting.
It's really cool. I mean, should we read a little bit?
Sure.
Just dive in for a quick second. Some may argue that Chinese desserts are not the most delicious out there. Whoa, that's a hot start, I guess. It can be hard to convince the non-adventurous eater to choose a chewy sesame ball of dough floating in water, an ice cream sundae, or a red bean dumpling over a decadent chocolate cake. However, as someone with Taiwanese roots who grew up in Australia eating these Asian desserts, I personally would fight for the last bite of Tangyong Zhangzi or mooncake if given the chance. You're not really telling me anything about the note passing.
Yeah, you want to slap this bad Larry into ChatGPT real quick and ask for a SparkNotes version of it?
No, I'm out on it. I'll read it later. Maybe we'll revisit this next week. Stay tuned. We're reading headlines right now. Oh, I did read part of this article. This is interesting. Robots are coming to the kitchen. What does this mean for everyday life? They're coming hot. They're coming in hot.
Yeah, the average business owner, restaurant owner, is not going to be able to afford the the robots in this thumbnail picture. But sure. I do think that there is a place for them. Considering I live in a world now where I'm like constantly having cooks call out. People are constantly sick or whatever. Robots don't call out of work.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're like, the first thing you said was, well, regular Joe Schmo down the street with the pizzeria is not going to be able to afford this. Agreed.
No.
Yeah. The first thing that I think will happen, is happening, is that the biggest food corporations in the world are going to start utilizing this technology. You're already seeing it, right? You're seeing McDonald's get involved. We've seen they're playing with like two different ideas. Like one of them is like the food preparation, and the other is like the food like interaction or the customer service interaction and delivery method. In 10 years, I mean, like, are all McDonald's going to be like robot operated in some capacity?
I could definitely see that. Yeah, and I think in that kind of setting, I do see it as like a realistic possibility.
Mm-hmm. You got one guy in there, you just load up a bunch of machines, press start. If he has to intervene, then he can, but otherwise they just do their thing.
Yeah.
What does this mean for like the food industry on a larger scale, right? Like McDonald's, I don't have numbers in front of me, but like I'm sure that they employ the most food service employees in the country, in the world.
That's like, probably,
probably, if not very close to. I can't imagine really a company that would employ more people. If half of those employees lose their jobs or get replaced by robots, are those people then going to go out and end up in other restaurants? It's already a low-paying job. I mean, it's almost like it's one of a couple things. It's either an entry level job for someone who's like, a teenager, right? In suburbia or whatever. Like that's certainly true.
I would like to know what like the percentage of people that transition from fast food to, like a full service restaurant.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like the same at all.
I don't think it's very high. I did work with one guy who he worked like every fast food job prior to working with me at, a much higher end restaurant. I definitely think he was an anomaly because in all the years that I've been cooking and all the people that I've cooked with, I don't know that I can think of any of the others really that worked in like a fast food place.
Yeah, it's almost like shameful. Like not that it isn't, but like I think that like that you could feel that way in those type of kitchens, right? Like I don't know, like if I did, or I could just say that there are places that I worked that I wasn't very proud of, and I didn't bring them up, just because I was like trying to give off the perception that I was a fucking badass. You know what I mean?
You mean like you wouldn't have necessarily like shameful in the way like when you're presenting your resume, you may have left that one off,
or even just like chatting with the cooks.
Yeah,
it's not shame, and I really don't. I don't mean that as I think that it is. I just think that like that can be like the internal dialogue, maybe. And I mean, I'm sure you could get bullied out of it as well. Sure, of course.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I think it's probably a pretty low percentage of people that do transition. So, but the thumbnail picture is like this chef in some like hyper futuristic restaurant, and he's standing there with both of his hands on the table, and there's like all these different robot arms like moving around him. Like I don't ever see that being realistic in the restaurants. I mean, it's just there's just way too much happening. There's it's the same thing with like you can ask ChatGPT to write a song and it'll do it, but it's not going to be a good one. And I think like the human element, like robots don't eat, robots don't feel emotion, which is why probably why the music is so shitty, and the food I would think would also follow suit.
I mean, I will challenge that a little, just like humans are imperfect, right? And like with the right steps, like food can be programmed to a certain extent. Now, like, if you do the same thing over and over again, you will get the same result. Now, a cook in a high-end place will have to make decisions and changes based on the current state of events, right? Yeah. Like, like I had hot pans before, but we just got rocked, so now I don't have hot pans. So now I need to heat up a pan for a little bit longer. That is stuff that can be programmed, right? Like, I mean, the robot can be like, it's taking the temperature of the pan, and then it's like, oh, this one's taking longer, so I'll wait longer. And it's complicated. Doesn't mean it's not solvable. It's always like with all this type of stuff, all automation and technology is like, when does it become economically viable, right? Like that's in our, in the modern world, like that's it, period. Like once people can make money off of it, then like it will be reality. And I think we're not that far away from seeing it at first I wouldn't be surprised if we see fast food restaurants with 2 employees.
Yeah, no, I think it's super possible in a fast food place.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, agreed. Like I like it's not going to be mini bar, that's going to have this.
Your kitchens aren't going to look like kitchens. They're going to be very different. The equipment is all going to be wildly different. You're not going to have robots opening low boys and grabbing prep, It'd be like burgers in a hopper.
Interesting. I think like stuff has happened faster than we've already thought that it may have, and our lives have changed with technology.
Agreed.
Like almost like slow burn, but also really quickly. I don't know. It didn't happen so fast that we were shocked by it, but it was like, it's like, oh, if you look back, like not that long ago, like life was very different.
Yep. What I am shocked about is this banana and curry on pizza. That's what's happening in Sweden.
The headline is bananas and curry on pizza. That's how the Swedish do it.
That is awful.
I don't know that you want to like throw the entire Swedish people under the bus for this.
I don't know. Sweden, if you're listening.
Look, the crust isn't even toasted, dude. It's white ass crust, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna hold them to like the quality of the crust, because maybe there are some like really nice pizzerias. But if those nice pizzerias are still putting bananas and curry on pizza, then I definitely have a problem. It also looks like there's like chopped ham on there.
I support ham.
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
I support ham.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the ham. It's the ham with the bananas and curry that's the problem.
It's like their take on a Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah, maybe it's really hard to source pineapples in Sweden. I don't know.
You see the sub headline? Before you turn your nose up at that sweet and spicy combination, consider its roots in the country's post-World War II food culture.
I'm considering it. Don't like it.
Don't like it. It's going to be a not for me.
Yeah, definitely not hot.
In the hot or not scale. An American-made sake movement is underway.
Okay, I can get behind that.
I can get behind that.
Will you click on that one?
Sure.
Really enjoy me some sake.
Sake in the United States. Sake production in Japan dates back to the Yayoi period. 300 BCE to 300 CE. I don't even know what those mean, to be honest.
The Craft Sake Fest in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Is Arkansas popping with sake? I
think so.
I'll be honest, that's the last place I would have expected.
I mean, I love it. I mean, yeah, that's awesome. It's an interesting thing that I've never had a sake that wasn't Japanese, right? I mean, I probably have in a restaurant.
Yeah, I don't know. It is interesting.
Or I'm sure they produce some amount of it here, but it's not something like you really think of.
It is kind of like an exclusively Japanese thing, at least as far as I know it.
It's awesome. It's it's so great, right? Like, I prefer it to most alcohols, I think. It's just like,
do you?
Yeah, it's like, it's not like intense like hard liquor is. Mm-hmm. I like the delivery method of still doing shots with it, but it's like they're not hard to do and you can just like continuously do them. It's really like fun and interactive in that way.
It is really fun to drink sake with a group of friends.
I mean, ripping shots like whiskey shots with a group of friends is fun too, but like you can rip sake shots and like not even really get faded. You could do that, like, have like rip 4 or 5 sake shots and like be fine to drive.
Yeah.
I mean, in an hour. Yeah.
Yeah. And like through the course of a night, if you had like 12 to 15, it'd be a rowdy night, but like it'd be the equivalent of having like, I don't know, probably like 6 shots of whiskey.
Yeah. I mean, right? It's like wine, right? It is rice wine. So if they're 1 ounce shots, then it takes 5 of them to get to a full glass of wine. No, 5 ounce. Yeah. Pretty good. It's a pretty good time.
Pretty good time.
You ever do sake shots or sake bombs?
Yeah. You don't when you like hammer on the table.
Yeah.
You put the shot glass on top of your chopsticks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Rich or poor, Uzbeks eat pilav. I recently watched something where these kids, they were all in kids like young 20s, They were in Uzbekistan, and they ate this dish, plov. Everything that they ate, that were saying that it was amazing. But what really stood out about the country is everywhere they went, like the hospitality was like over the top. Everybody was super eager and willing to like, get you food, get you whatever you needed. Like they were just like super excited to have visitors. Definitely never a place I would have been interested in the past, but yeah, it was also beautiful. But yeah, it seemed like a really interesting place to visit.
Where exactly is Uzbekistan?
It's like north of Afghanistan, like Turkmenistan, that whole like area.
Yeah.
I think it's like south of Kazakhstan.
Gotcha. Over in the stands. How Germany's spaghetti ice cream came to be.
Shut the fuck up.
Italian-German ice cream maker Dario Fontanella invented spaghettis?
Spaghettis.
A clever dish that captures the hearts of many.
Bro, you just put ice cream through like one of those Play-Doh men with their crazy, those like you put Play-Doh in there, squeeze them, and it grows their hair out. That's all this is. Got some like strawberry syrup on the top.
I think it's hot, dude. I'd smash this.
It falls in the same vein as Dippin' Dots. It's a novelty ice cream. It's fun to eat. I'm not gonna say I'm not interested in eating spaghetti ice cream. I am.
Yeah. That is a fun way to do it. Play-Doh, smush, smush, smush.
I've seen it.
It looks delicious.
I've seen it in Japan with like matcha. They have like matcha ice cream. It's this really beautiful green color, but they pour it like out of like a soft serve thing, and it just has a dye on it, so it all comes out in like spaghetti strands.
It's great.
And they like fill up a cone with it. It looks like a lot of fun to eat.
Dude, we've been doing the star or just the blob shape for what, 100 years? 500 years?
The star?
6,000 years? Yeah, the soft serve swirl. Star shape, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get just the blob. That's fine for McDonald's, I suppose. But I
mean, that's what
we can innovate. We can grow.
DQ does.
They just do straight blob.
I think.
I mean,
so they definitely do. Oh, it's so satisfying when they do it, though. It really is.
Yeah.
Our ice cream's so smooth.
Love a smooth cone.
I also doubt that it's really. Hey, look, Misubi.
How Spam became a staple of Asian culture. When American GIs fought abroad in wars in the 20th century, they left behind an unlikely legacy: canned meats.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great.
And if you're listening to this and you're like, ew, gross, Spam, shut up. It's good. it's delicious. If you eat hot dogs and you don't like Spam, like, sorry, you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, you're a racist. That's what that means, right?
No, it's so good. If you don't know Misubi, you like slice the Spam and then you saute it in a pan, you sear it in a pan with like soy sauce, oyster sauce, and sugar, and get like a nice soy glaze on it, and then you basically like make it into like a sushi roll with, you got your rice, and then wrap it with the nori seaweed around it, the same seaweed that you wrap sushi in.
Is this the one you did, or is it more like these ones? I've seen them both.
It's kind of a mix of the two. It's more like the one in the middle, but with like a full wrap of seaweed around it instead of just like the strip of it.
Gotcha. So yeah, we're looking at like one is like it looks like just like a nigiri, but like a larger nigiri with like a full slice of Spam on top with a seaweed wrapped in the center. And then these other ones, which I've seen more often than that, is like sliced with seaweed all the way around it and rice on both sides of the ham.
So the best thing with Spam, and you can buy like the molds to make your Misubi, like press the Spam and rice into make it into like a shape, the musubi. But you can use just the Spam can, take the can, empty out the contents, rinse the can out, and then you slice the Spam lengthwise, and then throw your sushi rice into the Spam can, put your Spam back inside of it, each slice, and press it down onto it, and then would flip the can over, and you've got like a perfectly pressed Spam musubi. It's awesome.
It's awesome. It like looks like this is how they did this. Like it looks like that exact shape.
It's exactly what they did. And then you can wrap them in plastic wrap and throw them in the fridge. And then if you want one the next day, you just like take a damp paper towel and you unwrap it from the plastic wrap. You wrap it up in the paper towel, throw it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and it's good as new.
Whammy.
Wham.
Take it on a hike.
Yeah, it'd be a great hike snack.
Yeah, take it on the subway.
Yeah.
What are the top 3 places you think would be to eat musubi? What is it, musubi?
Mm-hmm. Spam musubi. Maybe like a courtroom.
A courtroom.
Courtroom would be really good.
Okay. Like federal courtroom or like
yeah, the higher the court,
Supreme Court,
the better. The Supreme Court would be pretty good.
Okay.
Maybe if you were on the stand, a funeral would be a good place to do.
These aren't really the most fun places to be, so I wouldn't think there's some of the best.
Well, no, I'm trying to liven them up a little bit with some musubi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you're killing my buzz over here. Let's musubi up. Musubi up. Okay. I was gonna say on a boat or something.
A boat would be good.
Yeah. Not that boats need a lot of.
I don't know that there's too many bad places to enjoy one.
Yeah. I'd smash one on a boat. That's for sure.
Oh God.
Should we get into the listener's favorite part of the episode?
The end? Oh, the idiot sandwich.
What are you? Idiot.
You stupid idiot.
I'm an idiot sandwich.
You're an idiot. Of all the idiots, you stand alone.
It's the idiot sandwich. Idiot sandwich.
I have a submission. It's not a submission. I ripped it off Reddit. This idiot sandwich from Reddit. This person says, I was making gravy for Thanksgiving dinner at my sister's house. I thought I could improve the flavor with a splash of soy sauce. I grabbed a bottle that looked like my soy sauce at home. Turned out to be Mexican vanilla. The vanilla gravy incident lives on in my family folklore.
Congratulations. We got a name?
J. Ross Thomas.
J. Ross.
Really funny.
Don't do that. Gotta read the labels. What's the biggest mistake you've ever made? Mistaking an ingredient for another ingredient.
Yeah, one day I was sick and I took NyQuil all day instead of DayQuil.
I remember that.
Yeah, I told that on here. Oh, this is really funny. When we were in Thailand, our dog sitter, she was staying at our house, and she was, I don't know what she was making. I think it was like a potluck or something. She was bringing something into work, I think. And she was like messaging me, and because of the time difference, it's 12-hour time difference, I didn't have the chance to respond for several hours. So when I got her message, I think that she would probably been a little freaked out for a while. But she sent me a picture of this jar that I have in my cupboard of this like white flaky-ish powder like substance. And there's like a spoon in it in this jar. And she was wanting to know what it was. because she added a lot of it to the meal she was making because I think she thought it was sugar. It wasn't sugar. It was just MSG. but I don't know. I mean, if you look at MSG up close, it's like
does not look like sugar.
It doesn't look like sugar. It looks, I don't know. It like if you're unfamiliar with it, you're like, be like, is this meth? Did I just add a bunch of meth? Like, what is this? Like glassy. It's like strands.
Is it rectangular?
No, it's like strands. Like
I know it's long, but they're almost like flat and rectangular. A little, maybe.
No, the ones that, at least what I have, it'd be like if you took like long like hair strands and then like chop those up. They're like tiny little sticks almost. But yeah, it turned out that she had just added a bunch of MSG. I was like, don't worry, your food's fine. But it might make
buzzing in a little bit.
It might make everybody really thirsty depending on how much you added. She was like, oh, thank God. I was really worried. So
I hope it made it better. It makes a lot of things better.
I'm sure it did. Like, wow.
I feel like it wouldn't be good in anything sweet, but am I wrong on that? It's just so savory.
I don't think you're wrong. Yeah.
Stay tuned when we try making MSG ice cream.
Let's go. MSG spaghetti ice cream. See, it could be good there.
Now we're talking.
A savory ice cream.
Yeah. Love it. I remembered one from my past that I will share now with the listeners. We were grilling something we were in Tahoe still. Sam and I, we were in North Lake around the time when the last couple of years that we were there. And we had this old grill, this great grill that I actually miss a lot. It was like an old Weber, but needless to say that I had let the undercarriage cleaning go for longer than it should have, and wound up starting like a little fire underneath it. I mean, just drippings, right? And then they light up a little bit, and you got to go grab something. And this one particular time, it happened to be a little more than I thought, and I was pretty casual about it, right? I'm like, all right, I'll just take. I think whatever I was cooking was done. I threw it on the plate and like kind of walked casually inside and grabbed some like flour is all I could find. Flour does not put out fires. I was like looking for anything to like smother it, right? Like, cause I've used salt or baking soda or baking like powder or like a bunch of stuff. You put some floury mixture on there, that shit lights up. And then I was scared.
I've heard that flour, like if you like throw it at, in the air, I've heard that can be flammable. Like once it like separates like that.
Huh.
So
yeah. I mean, I kind of like toss it on, like, yeah, trying to smother it, right? And it was adding fuel to the fire.
Made it worse.
Quite literally. We didn't burn the house down though.
That's good.
So, wins all around. Congratulations to me. Congratulations to the Plumcheck house.
This person said my sister was convinced that before the egg is cooked soft, you must first cook it hard and then prolong the cooking time until it softens.
That's awesome. Those are great things to tell people that like aren't paying,
That's really fucking funny.
I might make it my mission from here on out to, when people ask cooking advice, just give them wonky ass cooking advice that doesn't make any sense.
That is really fucking funny.
Film it. If you don't film it, it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what time it is, Ronnie? He knows.
It's time for school.
It's time for school. Kick it off, Ronnie.
So whipped cream salmon is cool for cooks that don't cook good.
Woo!
How do you do it? Let me hit you with some knowledge. This is the moment we've all been waiting for.
Ding, ding, ding. Brr, boing.
Woo-hoo. I have a tip.
Ronnie has a tip, y'all.
To achieve like restaurant quality sauces and purees, soups. Soups is a really good one. I think a lot of people, they think you just like have to blend it really fine, but to get that silky smooth texture, you need to strain it through a fine mesh chinois, and you can pour it into the chinois, take a ladle, and you kind of have to sit there and like jiggle the ladle in there and force your soup or your sauce, whatever you're pushing through there, until it's all through. And that sauce or that soup, whatever you're doing, will then become that super silky smooth restaurant quality texture. So if you're trying to make soups at home or sauces and you're wondering why it never looks as good as it does at the restaurant, you're making your tomato bisque, give it a shot. Strain it through. If you can find a chinois, that's really the best. They can be kind of expensive,
Are they?
but I'm sure there's some cheap ones out there. But yeah, just a really fine mesh strainer would do the trick too.
Yeah, and if you don't have that, if you have some sort of strainer and can get your hands on some cheesecloth, you could also do it that way.
Cheesecloth would work great too. You're right.
Because you can take like any not that fine strainer and turn it into a chinois with some cheesecloth.
Yep.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice one, Ronnie.
Thanks, bud.
I got one for spring's right around the corner.
Okay.
And I just want to recommend to the listeners that we all go out and grow some herbs in our garden.
Love that.
This spring. It's one of the most expensive things at their grocery store, and they also like go bad really quickly. So depending on where you live, I mean, look to see what grows in the climate that you live in. But we have herbs here that just like grow wild, and then whenever we want to use something, we just go out there and pick it fresh and use it immediately. And then we don't really have, often in the winter, I'll have like herbs that are like never use the full thing of herbs. It's just the two of us cooking. Like it's rare that we get through all the herbs, honestly. Like when you buy even a small pack, sometimes it's like, I never even need that much. But I mean, you wind up, and we've talked about this before, but you go to the Asian market and you go to pick up some Thai basil, you're going to have a lot of Thai basil, right? Like you can't. So if you have space for it, it doesn't take a lot of space. Find something that goes wild. We have a couple things that grow wild over here. I mean, I think mint is like, it's a weed basically. It grows like crazy.
Yeah, warning. If you're gonna grow mint, grow it in a pot or something.
Grow by itself.
Your entire yard will be mint.
Yeah, maybe you want that. Who knows?
If you want that, go crazy.
We had lemon verbena. That was really good.
Cool.
I don't find it super useful. Yeah, I don't find it super useful for cooking. It smells so awesome. It smells like more lemony than a lemon. Not great for cooking, but it's a cool herb and it smells good even just walking around the garden. Rosemary we had last summer, but find some stuff that you enjoy a lot and go for it.
Cool.
I have a bonus tip too.
Okay.
When you're using these herbs or not, let's say that you do have like, you did go to the store and you grabbed some herbs, and you're not going to get through it. Well, maybe we can work that into some sauces or stocks at some point in the week. Especially like the stems of parsley, if you have them, like that can be great. Like in the last like half hour of your stock, or if you have some rosemary, like you throw the whole thing into a demi or like a beef stock or something, and then it doesn't even have to be there that long, and that will take on that like heavy rosemary flavor. Not just herbs though. Like, I mean, we always kind of have like a thing of scrap vegetables, and I'm not talking about like the skins of the onion, but like there are parts that like aren't going to be good cuts that like you can use for other purposes. So, hold on to those and see if you can work them into some dishes or some components at some point during the week.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and buying herbs in the grocery store, for one, it's so hard to find good herbs. More often than not, when you do find them, they're in those like super tiny little clamshells. You'll have like sage, and it's like 6 or 7 leaves in that thing. and it's like
$18.
it's not that expensive, but it is like $3.99, $4.99. It's like, dude, it's so easy to grow a lot of herbs. We have a lot of trouble actually growing cilantro. That one's hard. But yeah, our basil grows like crazy. Thyme grows like crazy. Rosemary grows like crazy. Mint, again, beware. Put it in a pot or be prepared for it to take over your entire garden. Rochelle just got a bunch of seed starts going. So
nice.
Yeah.
Let's go spring. We love spring.
Let's go spring. I know it's toasty up here right now. So
love it.
Spring is right around the corner.
We're there.
The weather, not the weather, the time change. So the past few weeks, past month or so, I was in Arizona for the weekend, and then I flew back here and worked the whole work week. And then that very next weekend, I flew to Utah, and I spent the weekend in Utah. And then I flew back here and worked the week. And then this past weekend, the time changed. And so my clock has been so fucked. And all week I've just been dragging. And I've been so tired all week. Last night I got a good night's sleep and I felt a bit revived. But it's been a hectic week at work. And with the time change and being on different time zones every weekend has just been really not fun for me. So, I mean, it's been fun, but for my body, it's not been very fun.
Ronnie's his biological clock is ticking, y'all. So let's support him in any way that we can.
I'm expiring quickly. And one last thing, we have a new listener from France.
Woohoo!
So, thank you for listening. Welcome.
Parlez-vous le français?
Nope. Okay, love you. Bye. Stay creamy.
Stay creamy, y'all. Follow us on socials at Whipped Cream Salmon Podcast. Email us at whippedcreamsalmon@gmail.com. We love you. Stay creamy. We'll see you next time. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.